I agree. So what are the teams that could use a Carr?
Okay, so the first one that came to mind are the Saints. I actually think from Derek Carr's perspective, the Saints, I don't know how the hell he could even get there. We'll have to ask Brad about that one. There would be some weird, crazy that would happen where 15 people would tweet out immediately, the cap doesn't matter, all of those things. But that to me would be the perfect situation for him because he is, to me, his ceiling is Drew Brees. And even from a wonkiness of character standpoint, he is Drew Brees. Okay, let me give you another one. What about the Bears? Because apparently the Bears are hot on the Derek Carr train. And you make a really good point, which is a team that needs to learn how far away they are.
Yeah,
the Bears are, because they've had a terrible quarterback.
Because the Bears had one season of success and spent that entire offseason thinking they were a kicker away.
Yep.
They clearly don't know how far away they are.
Yep.
So they could use a Carr to sort of bump up against. And here's the thing. The NFC North is a division that is winnable.
Yeah.
And so if they get Carr and they take it, let's say, to a divisional round, and it's like, okay, we need to do what the Chiefs did, or we need to do what Houston did with Watson. That would make a lot of sense. Here's another team that I think, and it's not going to happen because it's within the division, but I think the Denver Broncos could really use a Derek Carr. I think, even to a certain degree, this again won't happen because Roethlisberger's still there, but I think Pittsburgh could use a Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Like Pittsburgh's a
really good one.
Pittsburgh's not a Super Bowl caliber football team. Like unfortunately, and we all thought they were, but again, like you peel away that defense just a little bit, and
is he that big of an upgrade over Big Ben? It's interesting.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean at this point certainly
Ben's cooked, man. Here's the last one I'll say.
Carolina's a very good one. Because with Joe Brady, you could really get a lot out of him.
Perfect Joe Brady quarterback.
It's perfect.
Teddy's probably half a standard deviation below what a perfect Joe Brady quarterback is, unfortunately for him.
So what is Derek Carr worth to you?
So let's unpack what Stafford was really worth. Stafford was worth a first and a third, and a discounted first.
So the Panthers offered
the 8th overall pick.
Who was the better quarterback last year, Matt Stafford or Derek Carr?
Derek Carr.
So if the Carolina Panthers offered pick number 8 for Matt Stafford, now it got turned down because the Lions got 2 firsts and Jared Goff. I'm not sure which is better there. I think you can kind of debate those two.
Yeah.
But if you get offered pick number 8 for Derek Carr, so John Gruden was on Chris Collinsworth's podcast. It's worth a listen just to listen to John Gruden
talk. Yeah.
He is a magician. Okay. So he says a couple of things. First off, he waxes poetic about how great Deshaun Watson is. And then says he's got to stay with the Texans. The Texans got to keep him. No way they're trading him. He then goes on to say, you know what I love about Tom Brady? He's so good at discerning what a defense is going to do. Just like Derek Carr. Okay. This dude sold Derek Carr like he was a Rolls Royce. And I wrote in my notes, Derek Carr is the perfect quarterback to trade. Here's why. His defense sucked. This is the Matt Stafford thing all over again. Oh, well, Derek Carr is actually a great quarterback. His defense has been holding him back. It's the perfect time. He had a good season. They are the only team to have beaten Patrick Mahomes, and they were 3 points away the next time, okay? It took Jonathan Abram, having a conniption on the last play in order to lose that game to the Chiefs, or they would have been 2-0 against Patrick Mahomes. It's the perfect time. If you can get the number 8 pick from Carolina for Derek Carr, that is out the door and on its way. And then John Gruden is taking that pick. He's taking a couple other Raiders picks, and he's going after Deshaun Watson. Because guess who else doesn't need to do anything besides try and win a Super Bowl? It's $100 million man John Gruden. Maybe you include Darren Waller. So here it is. Carr to Carolina, bring in 8. 8, Darren Waller, 2 more firsts.
For Deshaun Watson.
And
I think that's part of, we've seen it already, right? Cleveland, for years, had the bounty of picks that they got from Sashi Brown and waited, took the quarterback finally. And Mayfield has his up and downs, but he looks like a decent quarterback at this point. Oakland / Las Vegas had the picks from the Khalil Mack trade, the Mari Cooper trade. Didn't use any of them on a quarterback, and frankly, like didn't pick good players. I mean, that's part of Cleveland's issue too. Waited. I mean, sometimes waiting is okay. I mean, that's why we've seen historically in the past quarterbacks taken in that like 12 to 32 range, generally speaking, suck because they're reaches, right? The Paxton Lynch's and all that. Maybe, and again, this is the same thing with the Lions. We're trying to prescribe brilliance to a situation that might just be noise
It's
and
just
them just
kind of luck,
But could this have been a situation they lucked into? Carr coming off of just an absolutely, I mean, it's the second straight year he played awesome in the first half of the year and then sucked in the second half and kept them from actually being a playoff team, but good enough where a team can convince themselves that he's like at least the next step to being competent. And again, we have to realize what the goals are for these teams. For the Niners, it's to win the Super Bowl. For Carolina, it's to
make the playoffs.
To make the playoffs.
You know how nuts
and Carr
that
can
place
help
would
them make
go?
the playoffs.
It's such an interesting dynamic, and I actually think what you have described, I'm not going to take credit for this. You did a perfect job describing an inefficiency in the NFL, which is using teams' optimal outcomes against them, not in a way to benefit yourself. So if you are Super Bowl or bust, and there are teams out there that aren't, you really benefit from having that average quarterback because you can trade him for way more than he's worth, a la Matt Stafford or Derek Carr.
And if you have organizational stability, you can afford to make some of these moves. So the Bears, for example, are a team. They're a mark right now because
a little unstable,
because their general manager and coach are making decisions to maintain their jobs. You know, Gruden, as much as like, you know,
Gruden went on a podcast and recruited Richard Sherman. Gruden's
got
above
everything.
everything.
We're talking about 7 more years left on his deal.
Yeah.
You look at Rule. Rule's got 5 more years left on his deal. You look at Shanahan and Lynch, just got an extension. The marks are obviously Houston, and then like some of these teams where, you know, they have like sort of win now, you know, sort of, you know, I mean the Rams, for example, like, you know, you're talking about win now, you know, sort of mandates, and you can really squeeze these teams with different time horizons than you.